All right, thank you, Maddie, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to be here today. My name is Jerry Healy, and my role with African Bridge Network is the employment coordinator. So I'm trying to build more relationships with employers that can help skilled immigrants achieve their personal goals with respect to their careers. I also happen to be a CPA, so I'm really delighted to be able to talk about something that I know a little bit about today, and hopefully it'll pique your interest in pursuing a career as a CPA. So our goals for today's information session are really twofold. One is to provide you with a brief overview on the process of becoming a CPA, and including an important part that we'll talk about later, the international credential evaluation. And then really, as Maddie was outlining, ABN is an action-oriented organization, and we really want to get some volunteers who are seriously interested in becoming a CPA, to take that first step today to help us with a pilot program where we'll walk you through the entire step of becoming a CPA. One of the things that we do have is employer relationships. So not only can we help you get that credential, help you get the work experience that's required in order to become a CPA. So let's just start with a little bit of background to become a CPA. Well, first of all, CPAs are among the most respected designations in the country today. People turn to their CPAs for advice on their business, how to run the business, how to structure the business. They also turn to their CPAs for advice on their personal finances, what investments they should be making, how they can minimize taxes. So in that regard, they have become really one of the most trusted professional designations in the country today. I think CPAs are also offering a competitive advantage. Seeing that licensure designation on someone's resume means that they're really serious about their career. In my working career, whenever I interviewed someone, I always took certain note of people who had passed a credential exam, whether it be the CFA, the CPA, the CFP, Certified Financial Planner. That meant to me that they were serious about their career, wanted to contribute, wanted to learn. And so I think it's a real great designation for individuals to have, to say that they're serious about their career, and then they can offer their company some various skills, aptitudes, and value as they go through their career. The next item is career security. During the pandemic, the number of CPAs needed actually grew. The number of CPAs employed actually grew. And that continues today. It's really a great opportunity in this field. As it says there, CPAs are in more demand than ever, especially in Massachusetts. Job satisfaction is very important and very achievable with CPA designation. And I can also highlight from a personal standpoint that it's provided me with a number of opportunities that I wouldn't have had without the CPA designation. I've joined a number of boards over my career that have been looking for someone to volunteer that had a CPA background. And the number of opportunities in your career as well can really branch out with the CPA designation. I started my career as a CPA, but didn't end it that way. And one of the things I went into was management consulting, which you really do have to understand the operations of a business, the operations of an organization, how the numbers work, what their key value measures are. And having that CPA designation really was a great background for a management consulting career. And I do think that even staying as a CPA is its own reward. And the last benefit, obviously, as I mentioned before, there is a shortage of CPAs currently. I think, as we all know from our economics classes, supply and demand, when there's a shortage of something that's in demand, the price goes up, the price being the salary for CPAs. So there really is a lot of remunerative opportunity here with regard to becoming a CPA. I'm not going to lie, it's hard work. It's a lot of hours, especially during tax and audit season, but the rewards can be very satisfying should you decide to become a CPA. Now, let's talk about what it takes to become a CPA. And it's really a multidimensional process to become a CPA, and includes many factors from your background. Number one is your education. And we'll talk about this in a little more detail as we go through the rest of the presentation. Experience is critical to becoming a CPA. Once you pass the exam, you need a year experience before getting the designation. Ethics are very important. There's a code of ethics that must be followed as a CPA. And part of your continuous learning is the requirement to take an ethics class every 2 years in Massachusetts. So being a above board responsible professional is very key to the success of this credential and profession. And then, of course, you must pass the CPA exam, which I'll talk about shortly, in order to be qualified as a CPA. Now, there are two basic steps to becoming a CPA. One is to take and, of course, pass the exam. That's the first part. And then you have the step of obtaining the actual license. And each one of these steps has a set of requirements, which we'll cover in a little bit of detail right now. So for Massachusetts, in order to sit for the exam, this is the requirements to actually take the exam. You must be 18 years old, and you can be a resident really of any state or country to take the exam. And you basically have to have 120 credit hours, basically a bachelor's degree under your belt, or within 90 days of obtaining that bachelor's degree. Included in that coursework, you have to have 21 accounting credits that include financial accounting, audit, and management accounting or tax, all the stuff you'd be doing as a CPA. Plus, they want you to have 9 general business credits, which includes things like business law, finance, and information systems. Technology has become a real important part of being an auditor, being a CPA, as clients use different technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, the internet, the cloud to use or to complete their financial statement process. So auditors have to be very familiar with this dimension of client businesses. So in order to sit for the exam, you have to have that course of study under your belt. So once you complete your bachelor's degree with these essentially 30 required credits, you can sit for the exam in Massachusetts. Now, in order to be full-fledged CPA, there are a number of other credits or requirements that are required for you to become eligible to be a CPA. So one is you've already passed the exam. Number two is you need 150 credit hours to become a CPA. Now that can be accomplished in a number of ways, as you see on 1, 2, 3 here on the slide. You can get a graduate degree in accounting, purely a Master's of Science in Accounting, during which you're going to be delving into probably between 30 and 36 hours of credits for that degree. And the other requirement is this is an or you can get a graduate degree in accounting that has a minimum of 30 accounting credits in your undergrad, plus 18 accounting credits in your graduate degree program. I can tell you that most people are just going right for number one, acquiring that graduate degree in accounting and not doing the blended one in number two. The other option is to get a bachelor's degree that includes 30 hours of financial accounting, audit, and management accounting, and 24 business credits covering business law and some of the other generalized topics that you see listed there. The real question there is, if you're going to do that in the undergraduate degree setting, why not just get a master's in accounting? So why not just pursue number one? And frankly, that's what most people do. If you're going to do all that work to get those extra credits that you see listed in number 3, why not just get the extra credential of a master's degree in accounting so that you can become a CPA. The other requirement that individuals must meet in order to become a CPA is the actual work experience. So it's 1 year or 2,000 hours in public accounting, or 3 years experience in non-public accounting, meaning, let's say you're at a company working in their accounting department. And both of these must be verified by a Massachusetts CPA. So you just have to report directly to a Massachusetts CPA to be obtaining that work experience requirement. An ethics exam is not required in Massachusetts, but like I said, as part of your continuing education requirement, you do have to take 4 hours of ethics training every 2. So one of the challenges, with that first requirement, the bachelor's degree, is having that credential validated in the United States. So there is an organization that essentially does this. They will take a look at your degree that you earn from a foreign university or non-US university, and evaluate it course by course, credit by credit, to make sure that it would be the equivalent of what you would have obtained had you gone to college here in the United States. And it is a very rigorous process. As you can see, there's a lot of information there that you need to comply with. Obviously, you need the transcripts, and to ensure objectivity, they insist that the transcripts be mailed directly from the university or college from which you obtained your degree. And they require other identification information like a passport and probably a translation if it's not in English. There is a fee for this process of $250. So basically, once you get this certification from the credentialing organization, you will be able to sit for the CPA exam in Massachusetts. And as you see at the bottom of this page, we will be providing you with a document where you can link to the full description of all the requirements that are required. So as I indicated at the outset for today's call, we're going to briefly cover the requirements to become a CPA. But again, ABN being sort of a supportive, action-oriented organization, we really like to know if anyone on the call today, and granted, you don't have to answer today, but if you think about it over the weekend, maybe have some discussions with your family, friends about the possibility of pursuing a career as a CPA, let us know. We'd love to run another supportive program for skilled immigrants. We're basically calling it our CPA pilot, where we will help guide you through this entire process from having your credentials validated so that you can sit for the exam. And the good news is with ABN, we do have some existing relationships with CPA firms who may be interested in partnering with us and bringing on people. As I mentioned earlier at the outset, there's a shortage of CPAs in Massachusetts right now. Firms are looking at multiple different opportunities to bring in good, qualified, smart people like yourselves to become CPAs. And they're very interested in how we're working with, a different talent pool to help them fulfill their needs to be able to serve their clients in the high quality manner that they want to do so. So what we'd really like to hear from you is whether you're interested in becoming a part of this pilot. And like I said, you don't have to let us know on the call today, but over the next week or so, if you do think you're interested in becoming a CPA, please let us know, and we'd love to add you to the pilot program. We're ideally looking for 5 people to be part of this program, and we'll apply the typical ABN high quality interaction model to make sure that every step of the way you're supported. We can answer any questions. If we can't answer the questions, we'll get you to the right resource who can, to take you through this process. And I can say that, after going through the whole process myself personally, it's really a thing of pride. To be honest, I stopped doing accounting and CPA work probably in about 2004, but I worked so hard for that credential that I kept it active every year. And 20 years later, I'm doing some part-time CPA work for a small firm near where I live. And it's a great credential. You'll be proud to have earned it, and you'll be even prouder to keep it. And you'll make your family and yourselves very proud to be able to call yourself a CPA. So again, if you are interested, please let me know. I'll provide my contact information here at the end. And like Maddie said, this will go out. And once we get that group of 5 people or so, or how many ever are interested, we'll be happy to convene a group and we'll talk about next steps. So any questions? I know I kind of went through that fairly rapidly. I'll be happy to answer any questions on the pilot program we're running, or even on becoming a CPA.
Yes, I have a question. My name is Sonny. Thank you. Hello?
Yep, go ahead, Sony.
Yes, thank you, Jira, for the presentation. I have a question. How many years you must to have of experience, work experience in US to become a CPA in US? How many years of experience, work experience?
Yeah, so once you pass the exam, the requirement is that you have 1 year, they call it 2,000 hours, of work experience working under the direction of a current Massachusetts CPA. So what that means is you will, and this is at a public accounting firm. So if you go into a public accounting firm and you're doing audits, you're doing compilations, you're doing some tax work, you have to do that 1 year. And once you pass that 1 year mark, you are able to apply to the Board of Licensing for your CPA license. If you are in industry, meaning you're working, let's say you're working for a large corporation in their accounting department, that set of work experience requires 3 years duration before you can apply to become a CPA.
Okay, thank you. I have another question. If I have more than 10 years of experience of CPA in my country, my home country, I have to pass only the exam in the US to become a CPA, or I have to have a more than 3 years experience in the US?
Yeah, my understanding is you will still have to do if you go to a public accounting firm, do the 1 year or the 3 year in industry requirement.
Okay.
So there's unfortunately no translation of the or transition of the foreign work experience into the US.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Hello. Yeah, go ahead.
So I know that the exam is really expensive. When you become a volunteer, do you have any, I will say, help when it comes to financial support to pass the exam?
That's a great question. I'm going to have to go back to Emmanuel Owusu on that to see if there will be support. Could you maybe give us some more color on what kind of support you would be looking for? Is it the training or just the application fees, or both?
It just like, I don't know if you offer either of them or both of them, just it's for regular information.
Okay, that's a great question. Let me take that back to Emmanuel, and we can get back to you with that answer.
Thank you.
I have a question in the chat here from Sophie. She says, do you have to pass the exam first and then apply to obtain the license?
Yes, there are 4 parts to the exam, and passing grade is a 75. and you are not allowed to, or you can't basically apply for the license until you pass the exam. And actually, you can't apply for the license until you have that master's in accounting and the work experience. So the sequence sort of is pass the exam, get the, and you can be doing this all simultaneously with regard to the master's in accounting. Pass the exam, get the master's of accounting, then the work experience. Then only after you check those 3 boxes can you apply for the license to the state.
I have another question in the chat. Someone's asking again how many years you have to commit to, or how many hours, I suppose, to become a CPA.
Well, I guess I can take that question 2 ways. One is, you know, it is a tough exam. So my niece is actually studying for it now, and she's locked herself in her apartment and no one's seen her for a month. So she's studying for it. So there is a lot of hours to put in studying for it. You know, we have the hour requirement, 150 credits that must be achieved before you can apply for the license. Excuse me. And then, you know, it's as I mentioned too in the compensation part of the discussion, it's a lot of hours during tax season. I can remember working during tax season quite a few hours during the duration of tax season. So it's a lot of hard work, but the rewards are there. As I said, there's a lot of opportunity, and the financial rewards can be very lucrative as well.
Thank you. I'm going to come back to the chat questions in just a second because I see people that have their hands raised.
Sure.
Sonny, I think you had your hand raised first. Do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
I'm sorry, this is a all right. Thank you.
How about Willie? Do you have a question? Your hand is raised.
Yes, I have a question. So I want to thank you for your presentation and for giving us the opportunity to follow our career. So my question is, if I already translate my degrees and do the evaluation, should I follow the same process as described in the paper sheet later?
Yes, unfortunately, the only recognized credentialing organization is it's called the NEIS for CPAs. So you would have to have that organization do the evaluation. What I would do in your case, though, if you have had it validated or evaluated by another organization to buttress the support for your evaluation, if you are interested in becoming a CPA, I would include any report you got where your degree was already evaluated for US purposes. So yeah, you do have to go through the whole process again, unfortunately, but you can certainly use that as to buttress the strength of your current credential.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I have some more questions in the chat here. Joseph is asking if we provide training to pass the exam.
ABN doesn't, and I can tell you that, you know, from practical experience myself, it is a significant amount of studying. You know, so the ABN right now doesn't provide that course of study. There are a number of commercially available organizations that offer studying. One of them is called Becker's, and there are some universities in Massachusetts that also offer training. So that's something that we should look into, and I think it's a very good question. Let me write that one down. So, but yeah, right now ABN doesn't offer the training for the exam, to bluntly answer your question.
Right, my next question from the chat here. How many subjects are in the exam?
Yeah, there's they divide it into two sections. In the first section, they call it the core topics, and one is accounting and attestation. That means auditing, number one. So you basically learn the principles of auditing. Two is financial accounting and reporting. And this is where you look at things like what's the proper way to present the financial results in a financial report. So there's a great deal of questions on that. The third one is regulation, and that focuses on ethics, regulatory activities such as SEC reporting, and also it includes a little bit of tax. So those are the first three sections: accounting and attestation, financial accounting and reporting, and regulation. And then they have these three, what they call discipline parts, and you only have to take one of these exams. The first one is called business analysis, and that's really just looking at how businesses are run today and what are some of the data points that businesses should be looking at, how you know to have professional skepticism. So really getting an overview of how businesses are run. The second discipline part, which is optional, is information systems. I mentioned earlier how important technology is to companies today, which means technology is important to auditors, especially given all the automation in accounting today. And the third one of those discipline parts is tax compliance and planning. So they've actually carved out a certain section, a special section for tax. And that's where I spent most of my career. They didn't have that back when I took the exam. The exam today is all electronic. When I took it, it was in paper format. You had to fill in the little dots with your number 2 pencil. But yeah, basically there's 3 core parts and 1 optional part from which you can select from 3 different disciplines. So that's kind of a detailed answer to that question, but it gives you all the information that you need.
Thank you. Next question from the chat is from Jahan. She's wondering, she has experience, 10 years of experience in her home country as an accountant, but no US experience. Can she still apply?
Right. So again, the first step is to make sure that you have that bachelor's degree. And then you can sit for the exam and pass it. And if you're working for an accounting firm, you still need that 1 year of US experience working for a public accounting firm, or 3 years in industry, as it's called. So yeah, unfortunately, that 10-year experience in a non-US location does not count for the designation, for the CPA designation.
Thank you. Sophie has another question. She's asking, she said, someone's mentioned volunteering. Can you give me an explanation about that? Who or where can we volunteer in accounting?
Yeah, there are always organizations looking for a treasurer, someone to help with the accounting, someone to help with the tax filing. It's a much sought after designation. If you actually go to the Mass Society of CPA website, just do a search, I think, for MA CPA, and on that site they'll have a volunteer page, and they list many organizations that are looking for a treasurer or a volunteer for their finance committee. All the things that a CPA can add value with these not-for-profits organizations are looking for assistance in that area. Actually, I found two board opportunities through the Mass Society of CPAs. So for me, I mentioned earlier the opportunities that being a CPA can provide, and I've met some really lifelong friends joining boards and helping these organizations with their finances. It was a very rewarding experience and took full advantage of my training and experience as an accountant.
Thank you. Marie is asking if we will be doing review sessions.
Could you provide me more information on review sessions? I don't know if that means will we be teaching, the content that you need to know for taking the CPA exam. That is probably not going to be part of the ABN's remit, but I will go back to Emmanuel to see if there's some thought of providing financial support for the courses that are already available.
Thank you. And Ada is wondering, yes, we will be sharing the recordings and the presentations. They're also wondering if there's any additional websites or documents about this program that we can share. Jerry, do you have anything else that you're going to be sharing afterwards?
Yeah, what I can do is I'll put it in an email to you, Maddie, some of these sites that people can go to look at all the credentials, the process and requirements in one place, and I'll send that an email to you, and then you can send it out to everyone who's joined us today.
All right, sounds great. I have a few more questions in the chat here. Ukar, I think I'm saying your name properly. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Can you please explain ways to get credit hours?
Yeah, so I assume that means to get to the 150. So what you can actually do is obviously you need a bachelor's degree. Now the way to get to the 150 is to get a master's in accounting. So you would look at places like UMass or Bentley College or other universities around Massachusetts or the greater Boston area to get that master's in accountancy. The other way you can do this is, you can pick and choose your organization. So maybe, you get some of the credits from a community college. You take some classes there after your bachelor's degree. Maybe there is a graduate degree class that you want to take at this university. So people take various approaches to getting to that 150 hour requirement. One of the ways, like I said, is just to flat out just get the master's in accounting degree. And the other is to take a series of classes that may not lead to a degree, but certainly get you to the 150 credit requirement.
And just to confirm, it has to be at least a bachelor's. It cannot be lower than a bachelor's degree.
Correct. You need that first step is 120 hours, which is a bachelor's degree to be able to sit for the exam.
Okay. And does the bachelor's degree have to be in accounting specifically, or can it be in any other fields?
It does have to be in accounting. Let me just go back to the requirement here. Here's the requirement. So you get your 120 credit hours, and you need 21 accounting credits and then 9 business credits included in that 120.
All right, thank you, Jerry.
Yep.
I hope that's clear for everyone that had questions in the chat. Next, I want to hand it over to Jenny. I see you have your hand raised. So do you have a question for us?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for all the information. How can ABN help us immigrants with more than 10 years of experience to enter the US market in the volunteer and job market and help in the whole process of obtaining certification, the CPA certification?
Yeah, so what our pilot is hoping to do is we're focused on individuals who currently have a bachelor's degree. Do you have a bachelor's?
Yes. When I say help us, if you can share some link with us, some information, some reference with us by email, we can just follow the path to do it, because it's very difficult sometimes to search and find a place we can apply to a volunteer, to do a volunteer job, or to do to get a job, because we are new in the US. Sometimes it's very difficult. He asks for experience, for cashier experience. He asks also for references, and sometimes we don't have it.
Mm-hmm. Right, so that is part of what we would do. You know, if you are interested in becoming a CPA, what we could do is you can become part of this pilot program, and we would basically be side by side with you throughout the process of, number one, having your foreign degree evaluated, number two, directing you where you can study for the exam, how you can study. And then, as I mentioned, we have the relationships with the employers who may be interested in taking you on to give you that experience required. I think in terms of, maybe we can follow up with you after, maybe Maddie, we can follow up with her after to just talk about other opportunities where ABN may be able to assist in
Okay.
onboarding into the US workforce.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think we'd welcome that opportunity to speak with you about how ABN can help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
Thank you. I have one more question in the chat here from Pedro. He's wondering, he completed his undergrad degree more than 20 years ago. Is it still valid?
Yep. I think I lost you, Maddie. The second half of that question.
Yeah, Pedro said he completed his undergrad degree more than 20 years ago. Is that still valid?
Yes. Yep. So as long as you have that degree, if it was from a foreign or non-US university or college, we'd have to run it through the evaluation process. If it's from a US university or college, no problem. I actually work with a man who became a CPA probably 30 years after graduating college. So it's not, you just have to have that degree in hand. It doesn't have to be a fresh one.
There you go. Thank you. Okay. Does anyone else have any more questions they want to either ask us now or put in the chat? Go ahead and feel free, okay?
Okay, again, I want to thank everyone for their time, and unless there are any other questions, if you do feel like you would like to be part of our pilot program and are seriously considering becoming a CPA, we'd love to have you join us, and we'll support you throughout this admittedly complex, intricate process, but we'd love to see you come out the other end as a full-fledged licensed CPA, providing value to everyone and the public, and more importantly, having a great launch of your career. So yeah, please let us know over the next few days if you'd like to join that pilot program.
Yeah, thank you so much, Terry. So I will be sending out a recording of this session, as well as both of the PowerPoints, any materials. Jerry's going to send me some links. I will share those with you guys. You'll be getting a lot of really great resources afterwards. And if anyone thinks of any questions in the next few days, feel free to email me. I will be by my computer all day, so I'm easy to reach if anyone has any questions, okay?
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks, everyone. Have a good afternoon and weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.